that seem very loud too? Well, we'll see once we get into the actual game. Insert disc 2. Okay, insert it. Yes, restore. We'll see how loud it actually sounds once we're in it. Yeah, does that seem too loud? I don't know what's going on with... Like, all of my audios are loud. Do I sound super loud as well? Like they mucked around with all the audio levels or something. For me or it or both? Leave me lying here. Okay. What do we get? I'm at a good level? Okay. We're in Doll's stateroom. Do I remember anything? Let's see. I remember that Doll's a person. Okay. Oh, right. He's the one with the safe. Okay. Right. We got to get down to engineering. I think I'm up on the second floor. Maybe the third floor. Maybe I completed the third floor and went up to the second floor. Yeah, okay. I went back up to the second floor, or the second deck. Hey! I didn't actually need to click there. Well, I guess that's good to remember. It resets the mouse pointer to the center of the screen. Which isn't too much of an issue for me. I use a trackball, a thumb trackball. So it doesn't cause me any problems. But if I used an actual mouse, that might be an issue. Right, let's go back down to deck 3. I think I pretty much got everything on deck 3. Leave me. And welcome in my lovely wife, Dragon Jen. Welcome in Hardly Worgen. And welcome in Mom. I know I had already responded to Dragon Gem and Mom already, but I had not. Then open it.
This stateroom is protected by the privacy laws.
Okay, must have been this one I was thinking of. No. I don't remember which room the hacker was in.
This stateroom is...
I think it was this one. Yeah, low level... Yeah, okay. Given Hideki's reputation as a hacker and his level close to the machine program. Program the terminal with the source code. You type in the lines of code from the source code listing. When you are finished, you give the computer a verbal command to execute the program. Wait, so I have to type, but then it can respond to voice. The end result is a string of digits that begins with 3.141529 blah 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 blah. So pi. And then runs off of the screen. Okay. Does it do anything else? It's asking you for a program or file name. Alright, so I need to find a file name to use. Okay. So we still need to figure out a way to tell where the radiation is so we don't die. Getting down there. So I didn't find anything really on deck 2 or 3. So I guess we're going to have to go to some of the other decks. Did we ever... Have we been to the bridge? Let's go to the bridge.
Deck 1.
Deck 1. It's the bulkhead. Okay. Me.
Computer?
The main computer is down. Voice access to Deck 1 local systems only.
Is there anything I should know about?
Contact with the main computer system was lost at 22:31:22. Local systems took over monitoring and control of autonomic functions at 22:31:23.
Alright, I think that's still the same time frame.
Has anything changed?
No change in status.
Okay.
I've heard all this before.
That is not a command or query.
I'm done.
Access.
Okay. The bridge sits at the top of the Lexington's habitat module and has a domed overhead with viewports that look out on the stars. The view outside is breathtaking. The bridge itself is striking in appearance, a circular room with the commanding officer's chair in the center, surrounded by an array of consoles and screens. Oh, like what, the Sega Dreamcast? Main screen turn on. Ha ha ha, make peace. Someone set us up the bomb. Move Zig. Command chair. Sit on the command chair. Sit down on the chair. You'd always dreamed of getting your own command, but this is not the way it was supposed to happen. After a brief moment, you get back up. Boo. Large flat view screen is mounted above the deck on the far side of the bridge. Equipment cluster of lights, sensors, air vents, and other equipment is suspended from overhead. Okay. External visual monitoring system. One of the monitors is showing a view of the outside of the Lexington. The picture is being fed in from one of the external microcams mounted on the ship's radiator fins. In spite of some evident battle damage, carbonized smears and rents in outer hull, the ship still looks like it is in pretty good shape. Idiot switches. Ooh, what's an idiot switch? Referred to as the idiot switches, the rocker switches on this panel will turn all ship's functions over to the computer systems unless manual overrides are engaged. Okay, bow dorsal ERCS system. TS abort. Okay. You go to select a different microcam view of the outside of the ship, but you have no idea how the controls work. Right? This is what the bridge crew technically refers to as a panic button. Pressing it will manually abort a computer-sequenced, Talcedo faster-than-light jump, right up until the jump drive cores engage. These are manual controls for a set of emergency reaction control system thrusters mounted in various places on the ship. These thrusters are anti-collision devices to be used only if the computer systems and all local backups have failed completely. Tactical station. Screen sits atop a console covered with various controls and what looks like a recently installed interface port of some kind. A recently installed interface port, that seems... Oh no, I guess they did say we were just in the dock before we set out for this. Where's the dock? Or the port? Is there, like, actually a visible port? Standard sector navigation map is displayed on the screen. A pinpoint indicates the Lexington's current position in orbit around the 6th planet of a star called Deneb Kaitos, also called Beta City. Why would you call it multiple things? Bridge is ringed with a hexagonal array of large consoles. Each console is packed with myriad display screens, control panels, and keyboards. I see. A standard sector navigation map is displayed on the port. On the screen, a pinpoint indicates Lexington's current position in orbit. Yeah, okay, it says the same thing. By examining the various labels on the controls and the screens, you deduce that this is where the bridge crew monitors the C3 telemetry feeds from drone receivers. Lobotomizer? This system will seal off the bridge and eliminate local access to ship systems from anywhere else on board the ship. Called the lobotomizer because of its potentially deleterious effects. This is supposed to be used in the incredibly unlikely event that the ship is boarded. Mostly it is used as an example of a stupid system. More idiot switches. This is control for manually requesting an interstellar positioning system synchronization. If the ship is in a star system with multiple TRB beacons, the TCS will pull all of the beacons and compute the ship's position relative to the star in the IPS grid within a few meters. You toggle one of the controls. Nothing happens. Yeah, okay. Alright, I don't know that I actually need to be doing anything here yet. So... let's take a look around and just kind of get the lay of the land of what's up here. Data line interlocks, data collection analysis, backup tactical console, LS alpha controls. Okay. Probably going to have to come back up here once we get the computer system fixed. La, 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 la. Alright, so done deck 1, 2, and 3. So I think deck 4.
Deck 4.
Deck 4. Deck for what? Ba-dum-bum-ba-dum-bum. It's Kid. Deck 4 of the habitat. Okay, so this is probably going to be more people's rooms and stuff. I don't know whose rooms are down here, and I doubt I'll be able to access any of them because I don't think I have any of their VCS codes or VIS codes. The crew quarters on Deck 4 are off limits since you don't have access to the appropriate VIS override codes. Yep, that kind of tells me that they're also never going to be accessible. Because otherwise it would come up and do the prompt asking me for an override code, right? I mean, that's my logic anyways. Wait, what was that? This is the entrance to the showers and the head. You enter, relieve yourself, and return to the corridor outside. Okay. So I guess if I need to come take a shower, I know where to do that. Let's see what's at the other end of the corridor here. Corridor. More places. Okay. So not like ward rooms or any sort of things like that. Looking like Deck 4 is going to be pretty useless to me. This is the quote-unquote lower decks. What do we got, Deck 5? What do we got?
Deck 5.
Looks like a medical bay. Yeah, the med lab is a complete state-of-the-art hospital in 2 rooms, designed to handle a few patients at a time. The med lab has plenty of capacity for a 20-person crew. Combat injuries are actually very rare. The losers in a space battle are usually vaporized. The autodock is the centerpiece of the med lab. It consists of a spherical robotic treatment unit and a sophisticated, non-invasive scanning system. With these 2 components and the computer's vast database, the autodock can detect, diagnose, and deal with any injury or illness that can be treated by 22nd century medical medicine. Resembling a mechanical spider, the treatment unit is a metal sphere that sprouts articulated arms tipped with needles, sprays, applicators, scalpels, and other tools. The sphere is on a track that runs over the treatment area. Okay. Recovery room. Medical officer's console. Medical officer sits here during diagnosis and evaluation. He will actually stand near the autodeck during treatment, as much for patient morale as for direct observation. The handheld remote control he uses for actual treatment is nowhere to be seen. You notice that a note is taped to the console. It is? It is. Hideki's handwriting is taped to the console. It is dated yesterday. The note begins ripping as you pull it away from the console. Perhaps it would be better to have the note intact and in place rather than illegible in your inventory. Well, Captain Dana wanted the autodock reprogrammed with what he called a panic button. I fixed it so that if you key in the code 911 on the autodock remote control, the treatment unit will automatically stun anybody or anything within 3 meters of the autodock. Does this have something to do with our mission? Sounds like you're going to be working with an ET specimen. What gives, Hideki? Why would he have signed his own thing if he was writing a note to himself? 3 smaller monitor screens are slaved to the huge wall displays. Oh, these things? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yep. 2 scanning microscopes sit on the medical officer's console, relics from an earlier age. The devices are there in the unlikely event of an automated scanner failure. Can I look in? You peer into one of the microscopes. No slide is loaded, so the only thing you see is the texture of the metal underneath the scanning elements. Interesting. This looks like a sensor of some kind. Perhaps it is what picks up the signals from the handheld remote that the medical officer uses for direct control the autodock. Appears to be some missing words there. 2 screens high on the wall provide access to reference information from the main computer databases. The screens are currently showing cell micrographs loaded into the local buffers from the last patient. Unfortunately, you aren't the medical officer. You haven't a clue how these systems work. Fair enough. 2 large wall displays provide the medical doctor with information from the autodock scanners. The displays are currently showing images from the last person to be treated by the autodock. Autodock recovery room. Small enclave with 2 bunks lies off the main med lab area. Recovering patients stay in this room so that the medical officer can keep an eye on them after treatment. There's nothing in the recovery room except for the 2 bunks. You sure? Cabinets and dispensing units on the far wall are used for storing consumable medical supplies. You strain against the cabinets, trying to force them open, but to no avail. That's a shame. You can just hear the medical supplies, bandages, syringes, splints, and all that sorts of good adventure game stuff Calling out to you. Alright, devs. So we need to find the handheld scanner, wherever that is. And then I'm assuming at some point we're going to have maybe an alien or something in here to stun. The science lab is the working environment for the ship's designated science officer. Oddly enough, this area has a kind of retro look to it, a result of the Navy's benign neglect over time. The science lab is the only area on the ship that hasn't been upgraded or overhauled since the Lexington was commissioned. This is retro look, huh? This equipment was outmoded when it was installed in 2114. Now it seems positively ancient. The gravidometer is a heavy cylinder made from a crystalline material with a perfectly aligned atomic matrix. The gravidometer is designed to pick up even the faintest of gravitational distortions and provides valuable information about the composition, density, and arrangement of astronomical bodies ranging from asteroids to stars. Oh, can it tell me who Katie Ledecky is? A series of large flat panel screens are mounted on the walls. They are currently displaying a pattern of light and dark bars that might be the results of a spectral analysis. Then again, they might be an indication that the equipment needs reservicing. You have no way of knowing. Lots of flat panel displays. Storage cabinet. Storage cabinet. Open, baby. Nah, they're locked. Boo. With these ones. Boo. Hey, what's this? Oh, a Geiger counter. Alright, well. Simple Geiger counter used to measure alpha, beta, and gamma radiation. When activated, the counter will give visual and audio feedback about ambient radiation levels. I'll just take that. I'm assuming this is the medical scanner. Narang explained the functions of the device during one of the slow days on the trip out. The microscanner is essentially a field microscope. If activated while being held near an object, the microscanner uses reflection from an emitted beam to construct a highly magnified, false colors image of the surface of the object being scanned. Nice. Alright. So a Geiger counter, that's going to be a way for us to get through the radiation. Something say scientific something or other here. Scientific equipment, okay. Yep, positively ancient. Alright. What is that down there? Oh, that looks like a damaged corridor. There's a mess of twisted wreckage obstructing the corridor in front of you. A violent release of energy has ripped apart the deck and the overhead, bending Erica alloy like spaghetti and snapping structural elements in the corridor like twigs. You contemplate the debris for a moment, asking yourself how the inside of the ship could get this mangled without a massive hull integrity failure. That's a good question. Good question. Alright. So I don't know if I should just go ahead and head straight down into... I mean, I guess it did say that was the most pressing thing, was to stop the reaction so we don't die. So, sure. Is it accessible due to potential radiation hazard? Right, so I gotta go to the reactor spaces. Now, how do you suppose I use this thing?
Reactor spaces.
Well, I guess first... Actually, first... we'll turn that down for the moment. Geiger counter. Unless I'm going to need it. You turn on the Geiger counter, you glance at the Geiger counter's small screen display. It is clear there is no significant radiation here. Okay, do I have to turn it on everywhere?
Warning. A coolant leak in the power reactor has contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment.
The elevator won't go down to the engineering, so the only way to get through there is to go down 5 levels. Right. This is one of the reactor maintenance areas. Fortunately, if Trent is right and the coolant system is damaged, then radioactive coolant may have spilled into some of the tunnels. You can't get your hands on a rad suit. The radiation protection gear is all down in engineering.
A coolant leak in the power
Which means you need to navigate through the reactor space without a rad suit.
You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment.
Okay, so it's beeping at me, but I don't know if that's going to tell me stuff. The Geiger counter is chirping quietly to itself. One of the tunnels above or below you is contaminated. You look at the little display screen on the counter. The counter is registering enough radiation to indicate the contamination in the access tunnel below you.
A coolant leak in the power reactor
Okay.
has contaminated the reactor
But it...
spaces.
okay.
You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment.
Geiger counter is clean, or is quiet. Both of the tunnels leading out of here must be clean. Both of the tunnels, but not the ladder? See what it says over here. Both of the tunnels leading out here must be clean. Okay. Okay. So looks like A and D are dirty. Let's go down C. Chirping quietly, one of the tunnels above or below you is contaminated. So we know that D isn't going to be good. Let's go down. Let's go over to B and see what it says. Oh, but I should have looked at the thing. Okay, let's see what it says here. One of the access tunnels above or below is contaminated. You can't tell which one. Okay, that's not helpful. We know it's not the one above. I'm wondering if it's just telling me that the access tunnels are contaminated, not that these spaces are contaminated. Let's try going over here to C. Or to A, I guess. It's going to be problematic because I don't know how... So I know above is contaminated, but I don't know if below is. Whereas for B and C, I know that above is, but I don't know if below is. Okay, so D is definitely a write-out, because that's both are contaminated. Oh, wow, that's interesting. I haven't been noticed. Interesting. Sorry. So C was definitely above. I don't know about below. So I don't know. I can't tell which one. All right, so that must have been okay. Okay. No? So I just went through stuff. All right. I'm dead. All right. Restore. If this one yells at me, the both of them. Okay. So that one was clean. And now it's telling me... Wait, was that one clean? Crud. Alright. Go back to Geiger.
Warning. A coolant leak in the power reactor has contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment.
Alright, so... Let's see how to denote this.
Warning. A coolant leak in the power reactor has contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment. Warning. A coolant leak in the power reactor has contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment.
Hello? Alright. So 1A. Above or below is done. So we know that that's going to be the below.
Warning. A coolant leak in the power reactor has contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry...
Because there is nothing... I mean, there is above, but it's not really above. Yeah, let's do it this way. What happens if I go up here? Can I go up here? The access tunnel through the portal leads to a dead end. Okay, this is the topmost of the 5 maintenance levels. The exit up to... Okay, alright. That's a weird way to construct the ship, but okay. Yeah, so C... C is also clear. And we're pretty sure D is going to be bad, but we're going to go in there and make sure. B, okay. Trying to think if there's a better way for me to denote this. Thank you, Dragon. Did those things actually come through? I don't think they did they? They just showed up in the thing. I see them in one of my chat, but not in my other. So I don't know if they actually were visible to the chat, to the rest of chat. Yeah, okay. Alright, I'll just remember. Okay, so I'm doing a plus for if it's clean for me to go through, and a dash if it's no. Just such a stupid thing for me to get stuck on wanting to.
Warning. A coolant leak in the power reactor has contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear and carry radiation monitoring equipment.
Making a little ASCII map, and I'm creatively blocked. That's cool. Yay, brain.
Warning. A coolant leak in the power reactor has contaminated the reactor spaces. You are in a radiation hazard area. All personnel must wear proper protective gear.
I'll just have to remember which floor I'm on and that I don't want to go through. Alright. C. Both tunnels look clean. Okay. Let's go down to floor 2. We're floor 2C, or yeah, floor 2C. We know above is clean, so if it's telling us that something is not clean, then that has to be the one below. And B is doing the same thing, so we know that B below has to be dirty. Okay, A is saying that only one of them is clean, because we know that it tells you if both of them is clean, so A below is clean. So we're probably going to want to go down A. I think, though, D is going to tell us that both of them are dirty. Yeah, both tunnels. Okay, so D is bad. altogether. That's good confirmation about what I was seeing. Okay, so we want to go back to B and go down B, because we're pretty sure that's clean. Or A, I mean. Alright, so now we're on the 3rd floor. Thank you for the confirmation on that, HerrBawl. I'm not exactly sure why AutoMod restricted it. That's cool that it did. Because I didn't have any other mod stuff set up, so... It was one of those ones where they came in and said... It would have been a bot saying cheap viewers or best viewers. I don't think I set it up as a restricted phrase yet. I did on Dragon Gem's channel, but I forgot to on mine. Nice. But I'm glad that it didn't actually spill out to you guys. What am I doing? A. Both of them must be clean, okay. So let me keep going around because I want to get a reading on all of them to try to get I think I have to get the full layout of where I'm going. Alright, so D, both tunnels are bad. Okay. E, both tunnels are bad. Okay. B must be clear because the top was on. Alright. And it's not telling me both. So I'm going to go ahead and go down here. Oh yes, I updated it recently because, for instance, like when I switch over, well, it stutters. So I've made a transition, a Dragon Gem suggestion, so that you don't see me stuttering and freeze up. It's doing that all while it's doing the little transition. But that's only on the prop set changes. The filters don't really need that because they don't cause it to freeze up and lag and look weird. But it also stops it from looking odd with the black and white filter for the noir detective. Alright. Which floor am I on? 3. Okay. So let's go down to 4 here. Because we should be good there. Both of the tunnels leading out of B are clean. Okay. So, I mean, I could just go straight down, but I want to go ahead and continue mapping this because I don't know how many times I'm going to have to come through here. So in A, and so that must be saying, because the tunnel above was clean, so that must be saying the tunnel below is dirty. What kind of milk comes from a pampered cow? Spoiled milk. B is clean. I went the wrong direction, didn't I? Okay, both. Yep. So C is just a bad place to be. D. Also bad place to be. Okay. Let's go back to B and go down B. I'm going to assume that I have to go to A again. Yeah, okay. So I shouldn't really need to map any of the rest of this. So it looks like it's B, 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 A, B, and then A. Now hopefully I didn't just go to C instead of every day. Nope, I didn't. Okay. Down. You want to push knock so bad? I think, Hardly Worgen, that's BA instead of AB. Alright, we can delete C. Let's type in here. Alright, we made it down to engineering. I don't know what'll happen if you push knock. Is that just the ladder going up? Oh, it's the elementator. Okay. Nah. Another emergency storage cabinet. What's in here? I've already fixed the hole puncture. You have no need for another hole patch kit. Boo.
Computer?
The main computer is down. Voice access to engineering systems only.
Status report.
The situation in the engineering module is critical. Multiple enemy beam weapon and missile hits registered between 22:30:14 and 22:31:45 have caused a criticality 1 fault in the primary power reactor coolant system. Containment failure is imminent. Containment failure will result in the loss of the ship. Contact with the main computer system was lost at 22:31:22.
No, that does not sound good. Yeah, the message only goes from the person who knocked over to this streamer. And I have my channel set up so that only my favorites can knock, which right now is just Dragon
Local
Jump.
systems took over monitoring and control of autonomic functions at 22:31:23. There are also multiple criticality 2 and 3 faults which require attention once conditions have stabilized.
Multiple criticalities.
Describe critical faults.
DCS faults are listed in order of criticality.
Okay.
Criticality 1. The coolant system for the primary power reactor has failed. Coolant pipes were ruptured by shear stress from missile impacts and by the heat from beam weapon strikes that penetrated the hull. Radioactive coolant has escaped into crew spaces. Coolant loss has reached critical levels. The reactor core temperature is rising. Containment failure is imminent.
Imminent domain.
Criticality 2. Multiple engineering systems have suffered primary and secondary failures. These are Criticality 2 faults because these systems have tripped tertiary backups and are now operating without any backup at all.
In the business, that would be called a HAZCON, or a hazardous condition.
The affected systems are fusion containment monitoring, thrust vectoring control, compression laser calibration, compression laser monitoring and control, deuterium tritium fuel feed, FCS damping, FCS switching, gamma flux monitoring, and the superconducting magnetic coils in sections Charlie, Golf, November, and X-ray.
Cool. All right.
How do I deal with the reactor
how do
coolant
we-
failure?
Access the reactor coolant system through the console in the main engineering area.
What is the
Okay.
reactor coolant system?
The reactor coolant system consists of a network of holding tanks, pipes, pumps, and automated valves. The RCS console provides manual control of the system.
What will happen if reactor containment fails?
The core will reach a temperature such that it will melt through the reactor containment vessel and then fall in the direction of thrust. Currently, the Lexington is in a 0.2 G powered orbit around Persephone. The molten core would thus fall aft and down, melting through the engineering module of the ship.
That interesting.
Why isn't there magnetic containment for the core?
The operating principle behind the ship's power reactor is a slow fission system, not a sustained plasma fusion reaction common to planet-based power systems. Magnetic containment would be inappropriate given the design criteria for the ship.
In other words, it'd just be huge.
Can't I just shut the reactor down? Why does the ship need a reactor if it has fusion engines?
The power reactor cannot be scrammed because the control rods are currently jammed in a position that represents 75% of the reactor's operating capacity. Coolant must be restored to the core in order to bring the reactor temperature down. The answer to the second question is that the reactor provides the power for the initial charge of the capacitors that fire the compression lasers in the fusion engines. The compression lasers collapse the fuel pellets and create the fusion reaction that drives the ship. The power reactor also feeds the ship's electrical systems, indirectly supplying power to all life support, computer, communications, and optoelectronic systems.
Right, so we kind of need that. Uh-huh.
Do any of the Criticality 2 faults represent an immediate danger to the ship?
Negative. All systems with Criticality 2 faults are operating within acceptable parameters. They are identified as Criticality 2 faults because they are Class 1 systems, and there are now no backup systems in case of further damage.
Right.
I'm done.
Access terminated by...
I know, baby. Alright, so there's going to be an RCS console somewhere in here. This is the primary operations and maintenance area for the ship's fusion pulse drive engines and power reactor. The main workstation for engineering personnel is the engineering maintenance area, a cluster of consoles that sit inside an alloy framework. An alloy framework surrounds the consoles of the engineering maintenance station. Okay, so there's a catwalk and a ladder. An elevated catwalk runs around one side of the engineering space. That's two sides. An access crawlway leads into the bulkhead. That's right, a Miwok. Alloy quartz latticework. Latticework of quartzite and alloy surround a component of the Lexington's fusion engines. Okay. Linear accelerator. Oh, okay. This is the structure containing the final stages of the massive linear accelerator that propels the deuterium, tritium, fuel pellets into the magnetic thrust cones of the fusion engines. Well, I don't know if there are silly deaths involved or not. We haven't really seen any yet. I guess we did see one death when I went down. No, it just told me. It just said you died from radiation poisoning. Lights. Okay. So, how do I get into that? Just here? Is this going to be a puzzle? Series of now familiar computer consoles and displays are mounted around the inside of the maintenance station. You find the proper controls and bring up the touchscreen schematic for the reactor coolant system. The primary coolant tank is damaged. All of the coolant liquid has leaked out of the system. This means you need to route coolant liquid from one of the auxiliary coolant tanks through the reactor in order to cool it down. The reactor coolant system computer interface will allow you to scroll and manipulate a map showing the reactors and the RCS tank's pipes and valves. There are 2 auxiliary coolant tanks. Both are full. Your first objective is to open the manual valve on one of those tanks so the coolant can flow into the system of RCS pipes and valve. The computer interface on this console will help you determine which valve you need to open manually. Use the arrows at the top right and bottom right of the schematic to scroll up and down. You can't use the computer interface to route the coolant through the reactor until at least one manual valve has been opened. Main coolant tank damage. Where are the secondary ones? Reactor core, ion control pool. Auxiliary tank 2 and 3. Coolant pumps. So, it is one of these things. Automatic. So can I make any changes here is the question, or do I have to go do something? Alright. So I'm assuming I have to go turn off this valve. And then turn on one of the other 2. So this wants to pump out here, which is going to go up here, and then get stuck. Okay. This is going to pump out here, go down here, over here, into the reactor, out into here. So I don't know if I need to also... Okay, I can change these. Okay. So... what is my actual goal here? I think this is correct. Come into here. So let's let this keep going. Make sure I've got that right. Goes up from there. I can't tell if that's an exact... I can't tell where these pipes actually lead to. Main reactor core. Engine coolant grid. So it's going to need to go through here as well. And then back out. Ion control pool. Main reactor core. I don't think I can interact with the coolant pumps. Okay, well that was the... heat exchanger dorsal, heat exchanger ventral. I don't know how this screen connects to the previous screen. Are there... they don't line up directly. Yes, I can change these. The junctions. The problem is I'm having trouble seeing how this set of pipes connects to this set of pipes. Because it looks like there's space in between the two that I'm not seeing, and it's not telling me. And I can't slow scroll. I guess let's look at it how it would flow right. It's flowing right now, so there's a rupture there, so that's all leaked. It would come out here and go both of these directions, or did I start clicking on some of these? So the heat exchanger ventral. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pipes. So is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pipes here? I'm not a fan. They're not giving, unless you guys are seeing something I'm not sure which pipes actually connect to where to know which way I need to make this flow. This is the engine pre-staging complex and the engine coolant grid. And this is the main reactor core. Ion control pool, the heat exchanger ventral and dorsal, main coolant tank, which is damaged, various automatic valves, and the coolant pump. To kind of 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, maybe. So I think I need to go and open the manual valve 2 and 3 and leave manual valve 1 closed. And then maybe I'll be able to tell what's what and how to direct things afterwards. So let's try that. Find the proper controls and bring up the touchscreen schematic for the reactor coolant system. The primary coolant tank is damaged. All the coolant liquid has been leaked. Is this just exactly what the other one said? Pipes and valves. There are 2 auxiliary tanks. Okay, so it is the exact same thing. Okay. And this is the same thing? Yeah, okay. Oh, I saw you open for a second. Pipes run along the walls and overhead. They might carry reactor coolant, or maybe they carry liquids for the life support systems, or perhaps they are simply housing for data and power cables. It's difficult to determine from this far away. Coolant system equipment. Must be the housings for the equipment that controls the actuators and pumps for the reactor coolant system. You can control this equipment by accessing the consoles inside the engineering station. Okay. Did this thing show me identifiers? No. Well, kind of. Here. I can go up a ladder. Right, to the catwalk. To the catwalk, yeah. I shake my little tush upon the catwalk. Alright. It's a weird place to bring me, but okay. I can see the pipes, but I can't... What's this? Equipment storage cabinet. A cutting torch. I'll take a cutting torch. You take the cutting torch from the cabinet and close the empty storage cabinet. This should be very useful indeed. I don't know when, why, or how, but I can cut a bitch now. Okay, so emergency access coolant flow systems 1, 2, and 3. What did I figure out? I need 2 and 3 to open 2 and 3. I saved when I got down here. I'm fine. Pipes. You've reached the end of the access crawlway. When you face the bulkhead at the end of the crawlway, you see a manual valve control sitting directly in front of you. The exit to the catwalk lies the other direction. And there's a vent, huh? Vent is secured into the wall of the crawlway. Now listen to it. All you hear is the quiet humming sound. That reminds me, I need to turn the sound back up. Maybe not all the way to full. Okay. Oops. Can I open the vent? There's no way to dislodge this vent cover. But what if I cut it? You prime the torch and ignite the pilot. Cut the vent with the cutting torch. Cutting torch isn't the answer to every problem. Quite a few problems, but not every problem. Well, why? Alright. You kill the flow of gases to the jet and the hissing flame dies away. Okay. Okay, so it is currently closed. Alright, good. That's the way we wanted number 1. Really have to step out here to be able to... Okay. Another vent, huh? You turn the wheel to open the manual valve. You hear a grinding noise and then a solid-sounding clunk from above as the valve locks in the open position. Still just quiet humming, okay? I'm going to say, what, no vent in this one? Quiet humming. Alright, open this. You attempt to turn the wheel and find that it is locked in the closed position. It appears that you could only have one valve open at a time. Alright, fine. That's okay. I can handle that. All right, let's go play with the water pipe things now and see if we can figure out how to route stuff. Alright, so I opened 2. So... Okay. So it kind of seems like I need to not do this. Let's go this way, see what this looks like. Alright, so that's connecting. To where? Am I dumb? What's going on here? Are you guys seeing anything I'm not? This pipe does not appear to go anywhere. I believe I'm trying to get the fluid to the main reactor core, which is here. But right now I'm trying to figure out where all of these pipes on this screen connect to this screen. So I'm not seeing any pipe there connecting. So let me try... Does this pipe connect? This pipe obviously connects because that one filled up. But it doesn't show anything on this screen. So how the F do you get stuff to this screen? Okay. I can interact with these things. I can interact with these. I can't directly interact with these. I have to go back to the valves in the catwalks. I can have one of these open at a time. I don't want one open because that's the main coolant tank. What, right here? The yellow things are the manual valves. This whole thing is the main coolant tank as far as I can tell. There's not anything I can interact with there. This is the one that's damaged. I don't want any fluid trying to go through it. Or come from it. As far as I know, I need to get fluid into the main reactor core to bring the temperature down. What do you mean by close off all the yellow things? Are these the yellow things you're talking about? They can't be closed off. They can be directed. They always connect one of the pipes to another pipe in the juncture. I am clicking on all this stuff, by the way. The orange things do not move. I can turn them on and off. They pump fluid, but there's nothing coming in this side to pump it out this side. Currently. It doesn't look like I can do click and drag on any of this stuff. And I know I can't interact with these from in here. They have to be done with the... What is this? This is... I don't know what that's telling me. That I have this valve open? I can't open both liquid containers at the same time. I can only open one of these manual valves at a time. When I opened this valve, it locked it into an open position, and then when I tried to open this valve, it said you can't do that. You can only have one of them open at a time. Somehow this pipe connects to this pipe, but it doesn't tell me how it goes through this side at all, if it does. That's not making the core go down any. There's only these two screens, it looks like. Let's see if there's anything different out here now that I've got stuff flowing through the pipe. Because I'm just not seeing anything different. Too far away to touch, and I can't walk to them, huh? Let me keep looking at it, actually. Hold on. Because there has to be some information that I'm not understanding on this. So let me look around a bit. Is it this junk in the ceiling? Because it looks like it's lit up blue, whereas I don't think it was before. Approach the console and read the instructions carefully. All right. I turned it on 2. Find the proper controls and bring up the touchscreen schematics for the reactor coolant system. The primary coolant tank is damaged. All of the coolant liquid has leaked out of the system. This means you need to route coolant liquid from one of the auxiliary coolant tanks through the reactor in order to cool it down. Right? Understand that. The reactor coolant system computer interface will allow you to scroll and manipulate a map showing the reactor and the RCS tanks, pipes, and valves. Okay? You successfully opened one of the manual valves for the... Okay, this is different now. Valves for the auxiliary coolant tanks. Your next objective is to use the RCS computer interface on this console to open and close a series of automated valves by clicking on them, such that the coolant from one auxiliary tank can flow from the tank through the main reactor, through one heat exchanger, and back to the auxiliary tank. You have to make a complete circuit in order to cool the reactor and bring the temperature down. Okay? Understood. Best way to do this is to set all of the valves along the circuit first, and then turn on the coolant pump outside the auxiliary tank. The coolant will then move through the circuit you've created. Okay? Understood. The problem is, I don't know how these pipes connect to this at all. Because if I put liquid through any of these pipes, I don't ever see it show up over here. So for instance, I'm trying to put liquid through this pipe. And I see the liquid go through this pipe. I don't ever see it show up over here, so I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing with it. If I put the liquid through this pipe, it ends up coming back in over here, but I still don't see the liquid ever show up over here to tell me how it's getting there. And if I put the liquid through this pipe, which is the only other pipe that I have that can go out, once again, I don't see the liquid ever show up over here to tell me how I'm supposed to be trying to route it. Unless there's another junction somewhere that I can't see. That is the difficulty I'm having, because I don't understand how to get fluid from here anywhere else. Unless somehow, like... Oh my lord. Game, I'm gonna slap you. Hey, guess what? The arrow keys do something here. Fucking game. Alright. Okay. Turn off. Thank you. All right. Now it all makes sense. Alright. Okay. So. It said that I have to make it go from an auxiliary tank through the main reactor, through one heat exchanger, and back to the auxiliary tank. Okay. So I need to get it into one of the main reactor, and then probably back through here to get it down to here to get back to here. So working backwards. Here. This is the first time I've had to use any keys other than any keyboard keys. It didn't tell me jack about that. It said use these arrows to scroll, and that just scrolls straight top, straight bottom. Doesn't do anything else. There, so that'll get it into there. Here. Why would I want to do one of these versus the other? I guess it doesn't really make a difference. Alright. End of the core. And it should start coming out of the core. Yeah, basically, Grizzleby. Alright, do this. Boom. Alright, I've made a circuit. The temperature's going down. Okay. Sheesh. And welcome in. All the indicators are moving back towards the green. The reactor core temperature has returned to subcritical levels and is now well within normal parameters. You've successfully averted a core meltdown and saved the ship. Cool. I see. So the arrow keys have always let me do turning. Alright. Now I don't remember what I was supposed to do after this. Captain's note. Right, I think I need to fix the main computer now. I think I can go back up to the crew, to the stateroom, and get another message from her. I think. So there shouldn't be a coolant link anymore. Does that mean I can just go straight up using the elevator? Boy, that was a slow walk. I did save.
Computer?
The main computer is...
Has anything changed?
The criticality 1 fault in the primary reactor coolant system has been repaired. Reactor temperatures are returning to normal.
I'm done.
That's it,
Access
huh?
to...
So take a sip, take a sip, take a sip.
Thank you. Well, good. It's going to let me just ride the elevator. I don't have to climb through the ductwork anymore. I think it was deck 2. I think she said come back to her for more recordings once the once the reactor is no longer going to melt down and kill everybody.
Deck 2.
Deck 2, Ship Boogaloo.
I'm sure you're wondering what's going on. I'll explain. You are probably aware that the Lexington was attacked by a UN ship. We were outgunned and on the verge of being destroyed when Captain Dana notified the UN captain of our desire to surrender. Garrick agreed to take the crew of the Lexington and Jericho aboard before destroying both ships. As I record this message, Garrick is waiting for us to transfer over to his ship on the Lexington shuttle. You are the only one left behind. If we're lucky, the UN bastard will ignore one crewman left on board the Lexington. We intend to detonate a thermonuclear device after our shuttle has been taken aboard the UN vessel. This will completely destroy their ship. It will also kill everyone on board both shuttles.
I'm absolutely just staring into the camera and not reading lines off of a cue card.
Important than this mission, including the lives of the crew. We died so that you can finish what we started. Our ship was badly hurt during the UN attack. The first thing you must do is deal with the worst of the battle damage. There are problems which directly threaten the near-term survival of the ship. Now, first of all, the primary power reactor is headed for a meltdown because the coolant system has failed. The molten core will eat through the containment vessel of the reactor and set off the fuel for the fusion engines. The resulting explosion will completely destroy the Lexington and the nearby Jericho. You need to get to engineering and stop the runaway chain reaction. The meltdown is the top priority. When you deal with that problem, then you must get the central computer back in operation. Without that, you cannot complete the mission. Currently, all computer processing has been delegated to the smaller, decentralized computers that exist on each deck of the ship. They do not communicate with each other except on a very primitive level, enough to keep what you might think of as subconscious ship functions going. There is no overall guiding intelligence in these autonomous systems. The ship's central computer is made up of Turing cores and is home to the complex software that gives the ship's computer its smarts. The higher functions of the ship's brain reside in the central computer cores. These cores are currently inoperative. The primary cores were destroyed, and the secondary cores failed to activate the way they were supposed to. You must get the central computer back online. I've recorded one more message. You'll hear from me again when you get the central computer back in operation. I have key-coded the message so that the higher functions of the main computer will pick it up and display it for you as soon as the central cores are once again operational. Good luck, and be careful. Tran out.
Okay. Thanks for telling me where the computer is. Alright, I gotta find the central computer core. Okay. Was one of the floors something just computers? Thought I saw weapons, obviously engineering. The reactor spaces. So yeah, I haven't been to deck 6 yet. Deck 5 was just crew quarters, so I guess let's go to deck 6. Or was it 4? It was crew
Deck
quarters.
6.
Is this a frickin' morgue? You're facing the controls for the shuttle bay doors and the outer door of the control room. Alright. Hey, I can take a suit. Can I take it now? Put on a vacuum suit. You would have to be holding... Well, then pick it up, yes. Sure. Wonder if I have a maximum amount of inventory. Guess I'll find out. This is the control room and airlock for the shuttle bay. A blister of quartzite looks out on the enormous hangar outside. I just want to look at the controls. Controls appears to have no voice operation default. Right, because you might be wearing a frickin' spacesuit. The buttons, keys, and displays that seem vestigial on most other consoles are the primary mode of operation here. Okay, NDB homing, right? Transmit homing sequence. Can control the shuttle bay and the control room. Got it. Probably can't go through this door. Yeah, when the shuttle bay is depressurized, this door serves as the airlock door. Because of its importance, it is open and closed from the control panel. 2. The cavernous cargo bay is where heavy equipment, spares, bulk stores, and consumables are stored. Everything except for electronic components, which are kept on Deck 2. There are thousands of items here in containers stacked high above you. When you look down again, an object on the deck just in front of you catches your attention. Is it this? Is it this object? The object looks like some sort of tool. It is sitting on the deck not far from where you are standing. It must have been dropped by someone during the battle. Everything else in the cargo bay is sealed behind acres of thermoplastic wrap. This is a Drexel multi-tool, a kind of Swiss Army knife for engineers. Its more useful attachments include a Dahlgren wrench, a thermal knife for cutting thermoplastic, and a screwdriver. It also includes a De Beers optometer, a micrometer, and several exotic tools that you can't even identify. Maybe equipment spares. What was that? I saw something. Oh, more heavy equipment spares, okay. Large and small containers are stacked on top of each other from the deck to the overhead. These are non-electronic spares. Let's go up to Deck 5, because I don't know if we've been to Deck 5. I kind of thought the computer would have also been in engineering, but I didn't see it there.
Deck 5.
I got carded at a liquor store and my Blockbuster card accidentally fell out. The cashier said, "Never mind." It's not really a joke, but okay. Okay, I have been on this floor. Or on this deck. Do I need to use the cutting torch and cut my way through here? Crank up the cutting torch and attack the forest of mangled deck grating. After several minutes of very hard work, you manage to clear a narrow path through the wreckage. I did? I guess I did. Let's put out that cutting torch.
I've put the combo on this door because I was afraid one of you might come in and mess with the main computer. Please see me if you think you need to get in here. できるものならやってみろ。
Oh, well, let's see. How about 3.14... Was it 5?
Access denied.
I've put the combo on the...
What's the first 4 digits of pi? It's 3.14. Is it not 5? Is that not the next one?
Access denied.
Maybe it was 9. Well, let's go back up to his... Yeah, call button. Thank you. Back up to deck 3.
Deck 3.
Ducky, you putz. Source code. 314159. Okay. I think a kid might be in trouble. I heard yelling. Well, first I heard a loud thump that startled me through the wall, and then I heard yelling.
Deck 5.
The battery falling down would indeed make that loud of a noise. That kitten wakes up with and
I've put the
chooses
combo on
violence
this door.
every day, it seems. All right. 1.
Access granted.
This is the heart of the Lexington's main computer system. You are surrounded by banks of Turing cores, powerful processors that use light and quantum effects to manipulate and store information. Each bank of Turing cores has more processing power than all of the computers on Earth in the year 2000. In the year 2000. Turing cores. Turing cores are blocks of transparent crystals that glow. What? You get out here. Where are you? I see you. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Yeah. Get out of here. It's my game to play. Get out of here. He is. What? Who? Got some jukes today. Whoa. Ha! What? Where's this? Who am I? Help! Get out of here. What? Stop scrolling. That's more Turing cores. Access from the door to the console is provided by movable floor panels suspended between structural beams. That's odd. Am I going to have to rearrange the floor panels to be able to access? No. Clusters of cryptic controls and indicators on the left side of the console. Appears to be an access panel. Well, you try the various attachments to the multi-tool on the panel, but nothing productive comes out of the exercise. Okay. A row of rocker switches is set into a panel just under a collection of blinking red and white lights. The switches look important. Each one has a set of plastic ridges around the edges to prevent accidental activation. But no frickin' labels? Slot. Okay. The master control console for the designated cyber systems operator. A keyboard faces a large flat panel display. The main computer is well and truly locked up, hung, frozen, crashed, down, wedged, hosed, gronked, hammered, fried, forked, and out to lunch. Hideki often said that if you have no idea what caused a catastrophic failure in a sophisticated, highly complex, mission-critical computer system, the best thing to do is turn it off and then on again, and see if the problem goes away. Okay. Main data core is overloaded by enemy energy pulse. Transfer to secondary cores failed. General system failures. Autonomic functions delegated to system nodes. Status inactive. That can manually transfer to secondary cores and reinitialize system. One of 5 switches set into the area that used to be covered by the access panel. Aha, posted. This button is for system-wide cold boots. Serious shit. Don't touch this without the CO's permission. Frickin' do it. You flip the last switch in the row of 5. This is indeed the system reset switch and causes the main computer system to cold boot. The system reinitializes, automatically switching to its secondary cores when its primary cores don't respond. The only evidence you see of what must be furious activity is a slight change in the glow of the Turing cores. When the system is finally back online, the screen in front of you fades to black. After a few seconds, Tran's familiar face fills the screen and her final log entry begins to play.
Congratulations. You got the central computer system back online. Now you must figure out a way to get the communication systems back in working order. The tachyon beam transmitter is a large parabolic dish on the outside of the hull. The control systems for that dish have been rendered inoperative. You must figure out how to get the targeting and control mechanism for the dish working again. Once the system is up, override the looping distress call by entering the following code. MELISSA, Melissa. Then ask the central computer to run the IPS program and use it to align the dish on the tachyon relay beacon sitting near the jump point in this star system. You will have to establish a relay connection through a web of jump points to reach any bases or ships. You will need to talk to the Alliance base on Erebus. They will explain the Lexington's mission and can help you finish that mission in real time. I've done everything I can. Good luck. Tran out.
Okay. Well, I know how to get out of here. To the dish. don't know why this music decided to start going so hard.
Deck 6.
You work your way into the vacuum suit, performing the awkward hands up and sleeves over maneuver to get your upper body into the tight confines of the suit. You're wearing the vacuum suit. There is currently no oxygen supply attached to the feed valves inside of the suit. You're carrying the suit home. Okay, I need to find oxygen. Have I seen oxygen somewhere? Pretty sure I don't want to go without oxygen. I'm going to take spares. You try coaxing the computer to help you search through the thousands of containers. The computer quite properly informs you that you have better things to do. There's nothing that you need right now. Here that you need right now, okay? Maybe the med bay, maybe somebody's room. I think I remember that. I think the medical doctor's room. Oh, I'm gonna need to get into the... How am I gonna get into the thing that requires retinas? Might have to steal somebody's picture. Oh, hey, you can double click to make things go faster. That's good. Where's the med bay? Selected activity.
Deck 2.
Electronics storage. I don't think I need any electronics. Seem to be oxygen there. I'm gonna have to come back into here once I fix the thing outside. It does just say eyepiece. Yeah, retinal scanner. I mean, I'm gonna break it. Crack the safe. It doesn't seem like it'd be a very secure thing if... go into pools. I really don't know what's going on with this music. Suddenly it's all like, yo, what up? Necklace with a gold pendant. The ship's model. Oh, I wonder. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. Cutting torch. Like this puppy. Melt the ship model with the cutting torch. This would most likely destroy the model and anything that might be inside it. Whoa. Okay. How about use the multi-tool with the disassemble ship model with the multi-tool. The thermal knife cuts through the tough plastic, and soon you have reduced the scale model of the Orlando to a collection of brittle shards. Inside the model, you find a metal key, envelope, a small black egg-shaped transmitter, and a device you can't identify. I think what I need to do... so I can still hear the music. Alright, so we've got a device, an envelope, and a transmitter, and a key. UNEF. If found, please forward to your commanding officer. What do you suppose UNEF stands for? You open the envelope and find a letter inside. To UN Commander, UNS Dharma. Okay. Oh, that was the guy that we just... the ship they just blew up, that attacked us. Okay. From James Poole, Damocles. Your plan was to disable and then board the Lexington. There was always a high risk to me in that plan. If a firefight broke out inside the Lexington, I might easily be killed. If I do not survive the battle for Deneb Kaitos 6, please make sure that the attached letter makes its way to my brother David. David is currently living in a foster care facility in Boulder, Colorado, inside the United States. I know you can reach him. After all, you got to me with no problems at all. Dear David, if you're reading this, I am dead. It is unlikely that the U.S. Navy told you the real story behind my death. I'm sure that they sent you one of their standard very sorry to inform you killed in action, hollows. It would be easy to leave it at that, but I thought it was important for you to know the truth. The U.S. Navy would never admit that I actually helped the United Nations win a critical battle in space, one that may well decide the outcome of the war in favor of the UN. You're probably shocked by this. Why would I betray my country? Why would I go against the principles of the Alliance? How could I violate the solemn oath of honor and obedience that I swore when I joined the Navy? The answer is that I chose to betray my country in order to avoid betraying the entire human race. You know that Mom and Dad were killed in a lab accident when you were 3 years old and I was 12. What you don't know is that we were both there when it happened. I never told you about that day. It's time you knew what really transpired at the ERT lab, especially since the events there served as the catalyst that led to my eventual decision to help the UN. I was playing with you in the daycare center about 50 meters away from where Mom and Dad were working. I remember that an alarm went off and all of the adults in the center rushed over to one of the flat-screen monitors on the wall. I went over to look at the cause of the commotion. A red light over the screen indicated that the signal was being piped across the complex from one of the internal labs. On the screen I saw Mom standing over a broken hazmat containment vessel, looking up at the holo camera mounted inside the lab's quarantine area. She knew what was coming and looked scared. Dad was backed up against the lab door. He was saying something over and over, but the audio pickups weren't on and I couldn't read his lips. Mom had accidentally dropped a container filled with the results of their latest experiment, a batch of self-replicating micro-machines designed to break down hazardous biological waste. The micro-machines were tiny, almost submicroscopic in size. As the hazmat container broke on impact, the micro-machines went into the air and into Mom and Dad's lungs. When the micro-machines encountered living tissue, they started to replicate and perform their assigned task, disassembly of biological material, one molecule at a time. This is the gray goo theory, by the way. I could only watch as the horror began. The adults watching with me were oblivious to my presence and didn't think to shield me from the images on the screen. First, Mom went down, clutching at her chest, coughing up pink froth as her lungs were eaten from the inside. I remember the floor and the front of her lab coat being covered with a fine red speckled pattern. A few seconds later, Dad died, clawing at the computer-locked door, blood running out of his nose and mouth. The micro-machines multiplied as they worked. Within a couple of minutes after Mom and Dad died, their bodies began to liquefy as the process of molecular disassembly accelerated. Finally, the chrononecrosis algorithms in the micro-machines kicked in, and they all self-terminated. Not much was left except for pools of reddish jelly. And so the elite ERT husband and wife research team died together. Mom and Dad had the best of intentions, and yet they created a monster that killed them. Their monster also left 2 children behind, lost, confused, and without parents. When I think of Mom and Dad and of the thousands who died in the Alaska traffic control disaster, the millions who have been killed by the fruits of technology and war, and the hundreds of millions who have perished of cancer, poisoning, radiation, genetic damage, chronic environmental distress syndrome, and other maladies of the technological age, I know that the madness must stop. Human beings were never meant to exist in the artificial environments that we have created for ourselves. We were never meant to wield the terrible power that comes from technology, from nuclear fusion to nanotechnology. Over the long term, we cannot control the forces that we have unleashed. We will destroy ourselves. I have known since I was 16 that the Alliance is bent on a course of self-annihilation. They will take down the rest of humanity when they go. The UN is the only hope for the future. That is why I agreed to work for the UN when I was still a struggling cadet at the Academy. I'm just going to stop here for a moment and mention how forward-thinking it is to not just fall to the same old tropes and go with like the United States and the UN altogether is good, and make the enemy like what I probably would have expected in the 90s, which would be like either the Russians, probably, honestly, Soviet specifically, or the communists, Chinese. So that's kind of interesting that they went, oh, we're just going to take the United States and their allies or alliance, and then the UN is the bad, quote-unquote, bad guy. That's why I agreed to work for the UN when I was still a struggling cadet at the Academy. The UN espionage network helped me to excel at my studies and then get on a career fast track that took me into the most sensitive areas of Alliance intelligence planning. The culmination of my service as a UN agent is an operation that will change the course of the war. I informed the UN High Command about the details of Mission 161, a highly classified Alliance expedition to scout a potential alien presence on a world 68 light-years from Earth. I helped the UN plan an ambush for the ships in the expedition. I arranged for my assignment to the expedition in spite of my lack of training and experience as a combat officer. If everything went according to plan, the UN disabled and then boarded my ship and the science ship we were escorting. The UN now has control of what might be the most important discovery in human history. As insurance, the UN had me plant a bomb on board my ship, set to detonate within a few hours of the arrival in the Deneb Kaitos system unless disarmed by the UN boarding party. This letter was left with the key needed to get at the bomb. Because you are reading this instead of hearing the news from me, I was most likely killed during the battle. You always thought that I was blinded by simple ambition. Now you know that I served a higher principle after all. Okay. So there's a bomb. Probably in the thing. This is an electronic device of some kind. It has two lenses set a few centimeters apart that make it look almost like a set of binoculars. The device is made of a flat black plastic and has a dull red LED on top and a small switch set into one side. So I'm guessing this is how I'm going to get into the thing. The device is about 5 centimeters long and is ovoid in shape. An antenna extends from the small end of the egg. You can see a tiny speaker grill and a cluster of controls on the otherwise smooth surface of the device. The transmitter is making very quiet humming and chattering sounds.
Scramble Blue, attention sword. Codename Damocles. Authentication Echo 2 Alpha 3 5. Transmitting at 22.59er with a periodic low-power NGCS burst. This is James Poole on the USS Lexington. Message follows. Per the last transmission from Dharma, I armed the bomb this morning before the officer's briefing, when I had the room to myself. If you intend to board the Lexington, you will need to disarm the bomb immediately upon arrival. The timer has been set according to instructions. Pool out. Message repeats.
So I'm guessing that the bomb is in the other whatchamacallit. I guess let's go try to disarm that right now. Okay. Well, then open the frickin' display case, Jesus. You attempt to open the case by pushing on the transparent material. It doesn't yield a millimeter. There doesn't appear to be any way to open the case with your bare hands. Well, then I guess I'll just frickin' melt this one. Crank up the torch and apply the hissing blue flame to the transparent material of the display case. Nothing happens. The material must be highly heat resistant. I'm going to be severely disappointed if the only thing it ever lets me do interesting. Oh, maybe I need to just use the key in the keyhole, huh? The key fits neatly into the slot next to the plaque. You turn the key gently once inserted and hear a satisfying click and then a humming sound. Transparent material surrounding the ship's model retracts into the metal base. Take the model from the open display case. Alright. Let's disassemble it. The thermal knife cuts through the plastic, and soon you have reduced the scale model of the Lexington to a collection of vertical shards. Inside the model, you discover something made of metal. A cold steel cylinder a few centimeters long. Metal cylinders about 20 centimeters long and a few centimeters across. An indentation runs around one end of the cylinder. Tiny letters are stenciled on the smooth metal surface near the top of the cylinder. Let me guess, I can't read it? Nope. Tiny letters on the side of the cylinder spell out UN and to yield 0.1 kiloton. The AM2 code is recognizable from briefings on United Nations weapons classifications. This is a UN Class II antimatter bomb with the explosive power of 100 tons of TNT. Can I open it? You unscrew one end of the cylinder, a tiny display panel and some controls become visible. So that's what, 8 minutes? No, 8 hours? I was hoping that it would let me look at the other thing. Alright. Well, I've got the antimatter bomb now. Turn this thing on. You flip the switch on the side of the device and hear the red LED on the top lights up. And the red LED on the top lights up. You can also hear a very faint humming noise. Uh-huh. That looks like retinas to me. So, got it. So I'm going to have to figure out which of the patterns I need to use. That's not going to help me with the other thing. You try the various attachments of the multi-tool on the antimatter bomb, but nothing productive comes of the exercise. I don't think he said...
Scramble Blue, attention sword. Codename Damocles. Authentication Echo 2 Alpha 3 5. Transmitting at 22.59er with a periodic low-power NGCS burst. This is James Poole on the USS Lexington. Message follows. Per the last transmission from Dharma, I armed the bomb this morning before the officer's briefing, when I had the room to myself. If you intend to board the Lexington, you will need to disarm the bomb immediately upon arrival. The timer has been set according to instructions. Pool out. Message repeats.
Yeah, he didn't really say how to disarm it. So yeah, it's like 8-ish hours. What? Really? Okay. Let me just double check and make sure that it's still... Alright. So I'm probably going to have to use this, reset it to something way lower, arm it, and use it to explode something. Where was I? Okay, so what were... Whose journal was this? Mary Kwan. Okay. Need to get my stateroom, right. So I don't know what... It's Dahl, and Dahl is the medical officer. Turn on. Look in. So, Miracle Dark. Target Nautilus. Kingdom Fallen. I think I might. Oh, hold on. Do I need the full names? Oh. Yeah, okay. Kingdom Fallen. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna guess I need MD. Okay. And the device on the eyepiece, you hold the device up to the retinal scanner so that the two lenses line up with the eyepiece. On the scanner, the retinal scanner senses the presence of the device and begins its scan. After chattering to itself for a moment, the scanner clicks and then the door to the safe pops open a few centimeters. You'll still need to open the safe door to see what is inside. A headset, a cable, ampule, a hypo. I guess just start taking everything. So I think that's the oxygen cable. Alright, so this appears to be a glass ampule containing an amber liquid. You can see a faint legend on the side of the ampule. The lettering spells out Hype Serum 18 milliliters. Standard medical hypo. Okay. This is a bulky headset that resembles the old head-mounted devices that used to be synonymous with virtual reality. Somehow you suspect that the bulk here has more to do with state-of-the-art obonic and neural interfaces rather than primitive silicon-based electronics. Okay. Oh, this is probably a cable to attach that to something. Heavy cable with connectors on both sides. Sure. Folder. Red folder bearing a prominent top secret stamp. Inside you can see a pile of fax print documents. You open the folder and there's a pile of fax print documents inside. After emptying out the contents of the folder, you discard it. TX-15 Hype Telecom System Documentation. Teradyne Corporation, huh? Okay. System provides for real-time human control of battle drones during ship-to-ship combat. Consists of new software for the drones and the ship's main computer, a direct neural interface between the main computer and the system operator, and a mutagenic serum to be ingested by the operator. This serum, known as Hype, facilitates interaction with the computer software and increases the speed of thought processing in the operator's cerebral cortex. The serum is key. Micromachines. A series of highly specialized molecular micromachines is responsible for making physical changes to the brain structure. Okay. Suspension. Project background. Had its origins in a University of Singapore launch catalyst. Dr. Paho subscribed to the Enhanced Human School of Evolution Dynamics according to the Enhanced Human School. So this is just more backstory. I guess? No, because his name is Poole. Well, maybe he has a different last name. Okay. So I'm going to guess I connect this to this, and then that does something else to control the things and do more things. I still don't have oxygen. But I think I'll go ahead and save it here.